Good morning, everybody. Welcome back or welcome to my channel, Smoothcraft. I am your host, SmoothLover215, and today I am doing a little short tutorial on how to just get started your first time playing Minecraft on Pocket Edition. I'm going to go over this for people who also have not played Minecraft before anyways. This tutorial is dedicated to my cousin Kate, who just downloaded Minecraft. And the reason I want to show you guys how to do this is because if you haven't ever played Minecraft before, joining now can be a little overwhelming, just because there are so many new additions to the game and so many updates have happened since their alpha version. So to get started, I'm going to press the play button, which will come up over here. And as you can see, I already have one world here. So if you can see on the above top left, I'm in the tab that says Worlds. I could also go to Friends or Servers. But right now, I'm just going to start off going to Worlds. We'll start nice and simple. And what I'm going to do is to create new. Now, I'll go to New World, because I don't want to do a realm for now. And then create world. But basically, the worlds are kind of your different files, or almost different games within the actual game program itself. So we can title the world, we'll title to Kate. Woohoo! Okay, and now the default game mode. The game mode is something that's definitely going to affect how you play. So when you play in creative, which we will start with creative mode today, when you play in creative, all the blocks and supplies that you need within the game and all the abilities are given to you, whereas if you play in survival, you're going to have to obtain all the different blocks in order to use them, and you'll have to, survive. So there are things like hunger within the game, so you have to eat food, and it's kind of just like almost like a simulation. So things like hunger and health you have to maintain, or else you die. But this is a game, so you can respawn. But in creative, you're not required to do that. So we'll go creative, and then the difficulty really doesn't matter unless you're in survival. But for now, I'll put it on peaceful, which I'll explain later. Just means that no mobs or entities will spawn within the game. World preferences, I'm not going to click a starting map or a bonus chest. Those are different options that will help you out in the game that you guys can go over. They help you out a little bit, but I just want to show you guys the very basics. So world type, there are 3 world types. The first type is in old world, which I can't quite remember if it's 200 blocks by 200 blocks. That sounds a bit small to me. But this was the first world type to open in the alpha version, and it is a smaller, tighter, confined space that you have to build, which I'll end up showing you. Actually, maybe we'll do world, but we also have an infinite world, which is the same style as an old world map, but however, the max amount of blocks is about, I think it's 30,000 by 30,000, something like that. So it's rare that you'll ever find the world border, which is the cutoff for where you can build. And then there is a flat world, which is also an infinite, but the y coordinates, which is the height of the world, starts much lower, so you can't really build anything downwards. It's all flat, so it's nice for little tutorials. So let's start with a flat world for now. That way, it'll just be more visually pleasing for everybody. A seed is something you can do if you were selecting. Usually, I like to do this in a survival realm, and it does not apply to a flat world realm. So you can't. I'm saying realm, a flat world. Excuse me. So you can't apply these to your flat style world. However, these are different biomes that you can select that will show up, and of course the worlds come with other biomes, but this would be where you spawn into the game. So there are a bunch of different ones here. They're very, very hip, all of them. A nice variety, so I would definitely suggest testing some of those out if you're new. And of course, you always want to start out in creative, which is why we're trying that. Simulation distance, don't worry about that for now. And over here, we have different things like show coordinates. I'll definitely turn on. That will help us to not get lost in the game. Friendly fire means that if you're playing with other friends, you can, it sounds pretty gruesome, you can hit each other in the game and you will take damage. Fire spreads, TNT explodes, mob looting, which I believe just means that the mobs drop different items, I can't quite remember. Natural regeneration, tiles drop, which means blocks will fall on their own, or immediate respawn, which I usually put on. Not that we're going to die in creative. And then some experimental gameplay, which I will not be using. I don't feel comfortable because I don't know how to explain it to you guys. I haven't quite gotten it. And then certain, we call them cheats, because they make the game much, much, much easier when you're in survival mode. So things like, I'm not sure what the Education Edition does, but Always Day, when you click Always Day, the sun, if you can see top left, the sun there does not go away, so because it doesn't change to nighttime, aggravated mobs will not spawn, which means you'll have less likely chance of getting hurt. Do Daylight Cycle is the opposite of Always Day. Keep inventory on, I usually like that, so if I die in survival, I get to keep my stuff. It makes the game much easier. Mob spawning, mob griefing, entities drop loot, that's what I was talking about earlier. Weather cycle I'll turn off for now, but the weather cycles are rain, snow, but only in certain biomes or heights, thunderstorms, and I believe that's it other than clear weather. Command blocks, we won't worry about that now. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. So even this just in itself is a little much if you're first starting out. But all the basics you need to know are creative or creative and flat world. So if you want to start, just keep in mind creative and flat world. Over here on my left half of the screen, you'll see options like multiplayer, resource packs, and behavior packs. We're not going to worry about those right now. Again, it gets a little complex. But right now you can see we're loading up the realm, or the world, sorry. So there are some nice little tips here while it's loading up, which is nice. But I'm just going to go over simple things like how to set your respawn point, how to get your bed, how to obtain certain blocks, and how to break and destroy, mostly motor control things like the buttons and keys, which I'll have displayed on the screen. So this is just a first time video. If you guys would like to see another video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you can get notified when I post a new video. And comment down below if you guys want to see more tutorials like this for Pocket Edition. So now we have spawned into our new world. If you can see in the top left, before I even do anything, top left says my position, 0, 4, 0. Those are my X, Y, and Z coordinates. The 4 would be the height, so if I jump, which is my right button right here, I can turn. If I jump, you'll see the second coordinate, which is the Y coordinate, go up from 4 to 5. That is the height. That's because I'm jumping and my height's changing. If I change positions on where I am, you can see all of the different coordinates changing. And this is just to kind of help you find your spot. So it's very nice when you're playing on more complicated worlds. Definitely not a flat world, but it helps you from losing your spot, which can be quite frustrating in the game. So if you can see my screen, which I hope you can, you'll see my left, I have these arrows. This is going to control whether you go back, forward, left, or right. You can do them at the same time, so if I hold on the forward button and I slide it over to the right, I can go diagonal forward. If I slide it over to the left, I can go diagonal left. And the same happens when I want to go backwards. So I can click click the bottom arrow, which will make me walk backwards. I can drag it to the left, which will make me... Oh, well, I never knew that. Okay, I lied. That's not an option. Can't go diagonal backwards. Oh, yeah, no, can't go diagonal backwards. You can move and jump at the same time. It just involves you holding your left hand down on the arrow and clicking the jump button, which is that single button on the right. I believe you can switch these if you're left-handed. That would be in the settings, which we'll go over in a bit later. I am right-handed, and it usually... I don't think I would be able to play the game if I switched the buttons. It would become more difficult for sure. But, yeah, so those are your basic controls. You can jump. You can also kind of crouch, is what we say. You can squat or you can crouch, which you won't be able to see it right now, but it involves double-clicking the center button on your left side of the controls. If you crouch, and you don't have to hold it down, you just double-click real fast and double-click to get up. If you want to hold down crouch while you move, it makes you go much slower. Things like this would be notable for the future. Walking on magma helps you not take damage, and if you're walking somewhere and you don't want to fall off the edge, you can hold down crouch and move, and it won't let you fall. Whereas if you're not, you're going to drop. So, what I just did there was I sprinted, or ran, but we say sprinted in the game. I double-clicked and held on the left top button. You can sprint while you change directions, and if you'll see the little circle on my screen, that's where my finger is, so I'm kind of dragging my thumb across the screen, and that helps me change which direction I want to be in. Granted, you can move backwards and forwards and do all this complicated movements, but I don't want to... It doesn't require you to be that involved. When you're playing in survival mode, you have to have enough hunger points, which I'll show you perhaps in the next tutorial, to sprint. This is a cow. Oh, hey buddy. So this is one of the mobs that spawn. The cows are friendly mobs, which you can... I don't want to kill them. You can kill them for food and leather, the cows, but all or most of the friendly mobs you can kill for food or different materials. You can ride some of the mobs, like a donkey or a mule or a horse. And these are all your friendly mobs, so you don't have to worry about them hurting you. They will not, even if you attack them first. Now then, to make things a little more complex, we're going to move to the bottom center of my screen, where you can see, I believe it's 9 blocks. You can see 9 empty little squares. We're going to press the one on the 10th side. That's the one with 3 circles. This is your inventory. In Creative specifically, this is where you're going to find all the blocks that you need. So right now you can see over here I'm on the green highlighted little chest. This is what I currently have in my inventory, and your inventory is just what you have on your person. So the blocks down towards the center, you're able to see those and view those whenever your inventory isn't open. And then the part that I'm scrolling right now, that is what you have with you and are able to hold in the game without actually viewing it at the same time. And of course you can move different items into it. So if I press the little magnifying glass button, this is where you're going to find all the blocks you could ever desire in your entire world. It is every block in the game. When the alpha version first came out, there were only very few, which is why this game can become so overwhelming for so many people, is because there's so much variety right off the bat. Having been a Minecraft veteran and playing for so long, I'm used to all the blocks because I learned them little by little. They all have different features, textures, color, and they can function in different ways, and you can only place them in certain places. It's quite fascinating. It's something that you do have to get used to in the game, but once you start to understand it, it's it's pretty easy to get a hold of. So yeah, let me start up top again. And I'm just scrolling my left thumb on the screen to move, so that's why I like the mobile, the Pocket Edition, is because you don't have to know keyboard controls, which I like. So up here, I have my different wood blocks. I'm just going to go over these real quick. Off the top of my head, what I can tell you is you obtain them from different trees, and the wood blocks can catch fire, so don't put them near fire or lava. Your fence blocks, real quick, these are kind of your wall bricks. They're like a thicker fence, which these are your fences, your fence gates, your stair blocks, which they function about the same as the regular, like cubed blocks. However, they're smoother for walking on top of, and they look really nice for roofing and stairs and different builds like that. Your door is pretty important because you can walk through it, and in certain modes in survival, your mobs cannot walk through it, the aggressive ones. Your trapdoors, iron bars, glass, which is transparent, translucent, so you can see through it. We have colored glass, which you can dye. Scaffolding is pretty exciting. I'll show you guys that later. And so what I did just then was I clicked with my left thumb, I clicked on the block that I wanted to select, and then without holding it, I clicked it into one of the boxes in my inventory at the bottom center. You can put them in either square, and if you look to the bottom right of the block, you'll see the number 64. For almost every block, there are 64 items in a single stack. So you will get very good at multiples of 8 and 64 and all of those in the game. So if I hold down and hover, you'll see a little green bar. And it starts to kind of move up, almost like a charging battery. That's me selecting some, but not all of the blocks. So now if I click a different place, it moved and split the 64 stack. So you can see now I have two different numbers. And I can fix this by either clicking them back, or I can just double click one of them to combine them. This helps you save space in your blocks, and save space in your inventory, and it also helps you to separate different things into chests and keep yourself organized. Next, I'll try to speed this along. We have your slabs, your different bricks and stones, your sands, your solid ore blocks, your quartz blocks, wool. These are mostly just decorative, like I said. You've got your carpet, concrete and concrete powders, decorative, glazed terracottas and clays, your ores, different woods again, different plants. We've got leaves, different food items in the game, which you can eat, by the way. So if I select an apple, and I go out of my inventory by clicking the X, I select my apple, and I touch anywhere on the screen and hold down, I'm eating the food. So you can't do this with every block, so if I press the scaffolding, which is not a food block, and I click and hold down, I'm just going to end up destroying blocks like I did. But if I want to eat some food, it won't destroy blocks. So I'll go back into my inventory, and I'll put those back. And in Creative, I can click anywhere that block is not, and it will throw it back into my inventory. So these are all the blocks. You will not need all of them for sure to play the game. You don't need to know what all of them do. A few of them that you do need in the game, which I will show you. These are very fun. These are your spawn eggs. So this is we'll grab a spawn cow. We'll also go in, and in order to help me narrow down some blocks and find a few different things, I am going to go into some of these on the right here. Some of the little folders on the left. So now I click on the one that's kind of grass. This is organized into different nature blocks and things you will need and find. The little bed icon has, I'm not sure how to phrase it, different functional blocks, I guess I'd say. Functional, some are decorative. And then the little sword and helmet, you'll find all your armor and tools and potions. And then the brick little icon is where you'll find all your building and decorative blocks. So that just helps me break it down a little bit. So we're going to click the bed. I can click color, and we'll go with the classic Minecraft red, which was the first color bed they ever had. I'm going to go into chests. Click the left one, which is chest, not a trapped chest. I think that's all I need for now. I think that's all I'm going to show you today. Oh, I will click on the crafting table and the furnace part of it. Yes, so if you are in survival, you will not have the option to find all of these blocks. You have to obtain them. But that is for a different day. Again, I don't want to overwhelm anybody by starting all of these. So, now I have this diamond chest plate. You'll see I actually have it in my hand, so I can switch whatever my little icon is holding. So, oops. Yeah, so this character right here, you see to the very right, the one that just blinked, that is my character. You can change that in the profile on the main screen. But we can get into that another day. So whatever I'm holding in the game, it'll end up, oh, it's not changing it for now, but if I select my diamond chest plate, which you can find it in the armor section, I can select it and put it in the spot for my chest plate right here. So this increases your armor bar at the top, which you can also find, I believe it's on the top left in survival mode on your active playing screen. This just helps you to take less damage in the game. Plus, I mean, come on, looks super awesome, right? So I'll keep that on for now. And again, I can just get rid of that by either taking it out, putting it in my inventory, or taking it out and throwing it back into the world of tools. Before I click out of the screen, I'm going to show you, if you look towards the bottom right, you'll see I have 3 tabs. These tabs are very helpful when you're trying to get yourself organized. So this tab is nice for when you can view yourself, your armors, and you want to view your inventory. If you go to the crafting table here, this is where you can find things to place in the crafting table, and you can do different recipes. It only lets you use a 2x2 grid for this, which I'll explain later, so you have limited options in what you can craft. I find it a little pointless and creative, because why would you need to craft anything when you already have all the options you need? And then if you click on the enlarge arrows, it just gives you a bigger view of all the tools you have and all the different blocks, which is nice when you're gathering a lot of resources. What I can also do is I can select any block. If I select it, I don't need to hold, I just need to do a single click. I can do a single click to my little inventory icon, and I can click into one of the inventory boxes, and if you'll see it, it just moved the oak planks in here. I can also move back and forth by single clicking on different spots. And I cannot view the boxes here while my inventory is closed, while I press the X at the top right. Ooh, sorry. Yeah, you'll see I cannot view those here, but when I click on the bottom, I can view all the little squares right here. And by clicking singular and moving, I can kind of switch it with something. But yeah. So, we'll go to a spot over here. The little eggs, which are not obtainable in survival mode, by the way. They are only used in creative mode. If you're playing in pure survival, you're not able to get them. But they are nice for when you need a specific mob. We call them mobs. all of the different entities and animals in the games are referred to mobs, including the animals and the fantasy mobs like zombies and skeletons. But if I select the little spawn cow egg and I click anywhere, it's going to spawn a little cow. Moo! Okay. And you can spawn as many of these as you want. Oh god, I probably should not have done that. You can spawn as many of these as you want when you're in creative. You'll see also, note that the little 64 numbers have gone away when I X out of my my inventory, my full inventory. But when I come back, you can see again, here they are. Again, not all of the blocks come in 64s, so beds only come just by themselves, just one. Other things like snowballs come in 16, or ender pearls come in 16, but most, if not all of them, come in 64. So now we have all these cows everywhere. But if I did want to kill a mob, I'm sorry, you're the unlucky one. If I did want to kill a mob, I would just click on it. You can see it kind of lights up red. Sorry, vegans. What happened? It dropped this little glowing bead, which is an experience point, or XP. I don't require those in creative mode. Sometimes it will drop food, which it can drop raw beef. You can click later to give you even more, or it could drop leather. It's kind of just a chance of the game. Like this ended up dropping some leather, which you can craft into armor and different things, and some beef, which you can eat or feed to other animals, like wild wolves, which you can turn into dogs. So now I'm going to start by clicking the crafting table. This is the most important block you'll ever find in the game. Mentally note this now. If you're starting in survival, you're not going to want to play without this block. You really can't get very far in the game without playing with this block. You can craft this block by using 4 pieces of wooden planks. So if I select the oak planks, which it doesn't matter, you can mix the colors, you can do whatever you want. I can make a crafting table, and I can make as many as I want. Woohoo! But yeah. So you'll notice when I go into my inventory, I can find the little square by the little table that says crafting. It is a 2x2 table. This is something you have in the game whether you're in a crafting table or not. However, when I hover over, by barely clicking lightly on my screen, if I click too hard, I'm going to end up breaking blocks. And if I click without holding down, I'm going to end up placing blocks. But if I click on the crafting table by hovering over lightly and tapping, you'll notice that the crafting grid changed from a 2x2 to a 3x3. This gives you many more options in the game. So, for example, I'm not sure what to show you guys. For example, if I wanted to make a stick, I could do the crafting recipe, which comes up planks by planks. The best part about Pocket Edition, and I'll say it right now, the very best part about Pocket Edition, whether you're in survival or creative, is that all the crafting recipes are given to you. On certain gaming platforms, I believe like Xbox and maybe PlayStation, you have to know the crafting recipes. But you'll see if I go and select a stick. Oh my god, where are the sticks? Hold on. Just kidding, the sticks are in an odd place. You know what? We don't need sticks. Who needs sticks? Anyways, I'll just use a different block, for example. If I go and if I select a door, you can't turn the door into anything, of course. You know, I realized it's only going to show you guys this if you're in the survival mode, but you can do different things with the sticks. See, I don't really know the crafting recipes. Like here I got lucky and I put them in a certain pattern, and I was able to make a ladder. So you have to know the certain crafting recipes. Like this one kind of looks like an H. But thankfully when I'm on Pocket Edition, PE mode, not mode, Pocket Edition, I don't need to know the different recipes, which is very helpful. So your crafting table, like I said, is the most important block you'll ever need in the game. In creative, it doesn't really mean much because you have access to all the blocks, but in survival, you need it to be able to make different blocks. So yeah, it's like kind of almost the representative of blocks in Minecraft. Your next block that you're going to want to get is called a furnace. There are, I believe, 3 different types of furnaces. There's a furnace, a blast furnace, and a smoker. They all do pretty much the same thing with a few limitations on each, but the furnace is the most general one that you're going to want. It's the easiest to get. And again, I'm going to hover over it lightly. You can see where my thumb is, given the circle on the screen. I'm going to hover over it lightly, and once that block starts to glow a little bit, like you can see the different shades coming out of the grass, that means I'm hovering over that block. So you can see when I hover over the furnace, I'm going to click it, and it takes me into the, you can see a furnace. So on the bottom is where you put your fuel. Usually you can use things like anywhere from wood to coal to almost anything wooden in the game, and that can cook certain items. Like, for example, I can't cook planks, they don't turn into anything. However, if I go into my inventory, pardon me, and I want to cook something like, these are already pre-cooked. However, if I go into my inventory and I want to cook something like a potato, if I put it in the bottom, I can't even put it in the bottom. You guys see this? It doesn't let me. It deselects it for me. But if I put it in the input instead of the fuel, you'll notice that the word baked potato appears as the result. I don't have any fuel in yet, but when I click my fuel, I can use, like I said, different wood things. You'll see the little arrow begins to fill up, and at the end of that, I get a baked potato. So it gives me more hunger than I get from eating a raw potato. And you'll see the little flames kind of in between your input blocks and your fuel. If you want to see the little flames go, they tend to run out. That's how much fuel you have left to cook. So for example, if I take all but one out, or actually if I take them all out, you'll see the flame starts to run low, and after it runs out, it won't continue cooking anything because I have no fuel left to cook. You see the arrow go a little bit back down. So you can't cook stuff without having some sort of fuel source. So that's the furnace. That's pretty much also very important. You get your basic blocks. I'll explain those guys later. You get your basic blocks, which are the crafting table, furnace. Next up, we have the chest, which is very important. Chests are kind of extra inventory for you. They help you stay organized in the game. You can have as many chests as you need to keep stuff in. You can also have a double chest, so instead of placing another chest like here, these two do not connect, so they have the same amount in each. But if I put 2 chests next to each other, you'll see it just combined into a large chest. I can select it, and it's got the amount of storage for 2 chests instead. Kind of just nicer to save space and, again, keep you more organized, more options. However, I can do two by the side if I place them in different directions, and they will not connect because the little white silver buckle on the front are not facing the same way. So I can put all of my junk or pretty much anything I need to into my chests. and now it is technically stored inside of this block right here. And if I go and I press my little inventory button on the bottom right in the bar, you'll see that in my chest area, it is not in here, because this is not connected to that chest block. Also important to note. Now, I believe also, aside from those 3 blocks, your other most important item / block is your bed. Now, beds can be crafted by using, I believe it's 3 wood planks and 3 wool. Now the wool all has to match color. It didn't used to need to. When I place my bed, you can see it's pretty nice. I bounce a little bit. That's one of the cool features that they added. I can't sleep right now because I am in creative. Sleeping helps the day and time within the game change. You'll see the sun is about halfway, which means it's technically noon or midday right now. I believe that each day cycle is 12 minutes for daytime and 12 minutes for nighttime. That's in real life. In-game, it's supposed to be kind of 12 hours. If we were not on our cheat of turn off day cycle, we would see the sun begin to move in one direction. But since it is not nighttime, I don't really need the bed other than setting a spawn point. So you see, when I click the bed, and I don't sleep because it's day, but when I click the bed, you can see it's a respawn point set. You can only sleep at night, again, like I mentioned. But your spawn point means that if I die in the game, and I die over here, you know, if I die over here in this little hole, it'll take me to the die screen. I'll say, you know, spawn again, and it'll spawn me here, right next to my respawn point. So the beds kind of act as a, I'm trying to think of a word other than spawn point. The beds are kind of like home base, almost. Again, so I was on this bed right now, and I would respawn here if I died. If I go over here, and I click this bed, it changes my respawn point to this bed. So I would not spawn there. If I die, I would spawn here. So the most recent bed that you click, that's the one you're going to spawn in. Right now, bed is too far away. I need to be a little bit closer. So you get that same screen. And if you're playing in survival in certain modes and you click the bed at night and it does not let you sleep, you might get a sign or a message on above your, below your coordinates that says you may not rest now, there are monsters nearby. It's just another feature of the game. It means you have to go out and kill all the closer mobs near you so you can go to sleep. But yeah, so those are pretty much the blocks. Don't want to overwhelm you with that, so we're going to move over here. Other things, I'm trying to think off the top of my head what I need to show you guys. Yes. So if I click, if you see the very top 3 buttons in the top center of my screen, you'll see one kind of weird shape, the center one, a chat box, and the right one is a little pause button. I'm going to first click the center one. This is your chat and command room. So your chat room, if I type the little bar below, my keyboard comes up. I can say hi, subscribe, and I click the little arrow towards the right. You can see it in here, but you can also see it on your screen, and it'll stay there for a few seconds and disappear. If you want to talk to players in-game without actually calling or texting, this is how you would do that. So if I had a different person playing in this world with me on multiplayer, they would be able to see my sign that said hi, subscribe. And again, it disappeared in a few seconds. It would do the same for them. So you can type all kinds of things, don't be rude or nothing, but this is just where you kind of talk. If I press the little button to the far left, it brings my keyboard up, and that disappears once the keyboard is up. The little slash button are different sort of commands. I don't want to overwhelm or worry anybody right now, But again, that's things like the time, the weather. Teleporting is more advanced. We won't worry about that. Right now, I can't do any of these because I turned this cycles off. Oh, maybe I didn't turn weather off. Yay! So I turned rain on, just as you can tell. But now I'll go weather. I'll go to clear. And then it'll eventually, it slows down. Takes a few seconds. It clears it and gets all sunny again and nice, and the mobs go away. But yeah, just little things like that. The most important is the chat, you know. And then you'll see to the top right in the center of my screen, I click the pause button. Boop. This will show you on the right side. It says to Kate. That's what we named our world. So you can see the name of the world you're in. My ID tag says Smooth Lover 215. I have a little crown next to my name. Don't worry about that. It just means I'm kind of the owner of the world. I started it up on my phone. So all the players who are in the game at this time will show on your right screen. Of course, I'm the only one playing right now. But I can invite someone to game by... Here are all my friends. I can invite someone to game by clicking invite to game and selecting their ID tag. And it doesn't bring them automatically in. They have to click on it and accept and open up Minecraft. But you can see my profile and my little character. So I could go there and edit my profile, but I'm not going to do that now. You can click resume game, which will take you back. So there is no little exit button to the top right. You want to click resume game to get back into the game. And if I am correct, if you click the pause button and you have the day cycle on, like the changing of the day and night cycle on, the time of the game does not stop when you are in reset. Like you can sort of see above my character to the left, the cow is moving. The game is still playing as long as you are in pause. So this means you can get attacked, so it's not good to stay in pause unless you need to change something like settings. This really isn't an away from keyboard kind of feature, so I don't recommend staying in pause. If we go to the settings, this is where you can change a few different things. This also gets kind of overwhelming, but you'll be surprised by the once you get used to playing this game, you'll be surprised at how many technical things you can do. It's really fascinating because I'm horrible at technology, but I feel like a pro when I explain this. So again, we'll see our different game modes and kind of cheats that we set up. You can see on my left half of the screen different things like multiplayer, keyboard and mouse, which I can change the sensitivity, the size. I can change different buttons, the controls. This is where it gets all kind of technical. So if you're fine with how your screen is, don't try to change anything. But like I mentioned earlier, if you're left-handed, I'm pretty sure this is where you can change the buttons and which sides they're on. Profile and video and different things like that. You really don't need to worry about it. I do change the audio sometimes, and I turn everything down, which I won't do now. I don't know. After playing from alpha mode, I got sick of all the noises. And I like to watch YouTube when I play. Yeah, so that is pretty much it for this tutorial. Thank you guys. I'm not going to show my character right now, because again, this is technical and I don't want to overwhelm anybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for hitting that like button. I know you did. Thank you. If you didn't, why didn't you hit that like button? Again, comment down below if you guys would like to see another video of mine. If you want to see more tutorials like this, let me know in the bottom. If you have any specific questions you want me to go over in a video or subjects, I'd be more than happy to do that. I love you guys' ideas, and I want to make sure I'm producing content that you guys enjoy. So be sure to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you get notified when my videos come out, because, you know, you want to know when they come out, trust me. I don't post as often as I'd like, and, you know, it's special when my videos come out, at least to me. So now, if I click the pause button, I go to the bottom, I go to save and quit, and it will take me back to the main screen. So again, thanks for watching, be sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.